Bueno, me queda así. Chavales, han anunciado parche nuevo. Tú, contra todo pronóstico, contra todo pronóstico, el parche no es matar rares. El parche es jugar al juego. Fíjate tú, fíjate tú por dónde. Para sorpresa de absolutamente todo el mundo. Que tenéis que... Vamos a comentarlo rapidito antes de jugar Proyecto M. Lo he puesto aquí, mira. Digo, ok, empezamos bien. No es matar rares sin sentido. Si es divertido y spameable, podría ganar el gaming. Por aquí, se divisa una tormenta en el horizonte, grumetillos. 60 jugadores se enfrentarán en Plunderstorm. Una batalla tipo Battle Royale. Llega mañana. Fortnite dentro de WoW. Fortnite dentro de World of Warcraft. Mira esto, chavales. Mira esto.
¡El barco! Espero que quieras ponerte a saquear.
Míralo. Oye, mira, ¿qué
¡Arrimar el hombro! ¡A ver de lo que sois capaces, lobos de mar!
Míralo. Pegarse de guantazo. Todo el mundo.
¡Hay tesoros esperando!
La recompensa, obvio. ¿Por qué esta tía está apuntando con el ojo del parche? ¿Me lo puede explicar alguien? ¿Por qué está apuntando con la pistola en el ojo que tiene en el parche? ¿Qué? ¿Esto qué es? ¿Esto qué es? Y cierra el otro ojo.
El pillaje está a punto de comenzar.
Ahí está. Puede ser el parche. Let's go. Pues ahí está, chicos. Parche 10.2.6. Plunderstorm. Un Battle Royale de 60 personas. 60. Esto, a ver, me da una mala espina que va a haber un lag de cojones. Porque ya de por sí, cuando hay 10 personas matando un rare en el sueño esmeralda, ya el PC explota. Imagínate 60. Imagínate 60, ¿sabes? Pero bueno, ahora veremos. Hay un vídeo en español que lo explica, ¿no? ¿Lo tenéis por aquí? Buah, muchas gracias, tío. Vale, podemos ver que estará subtitulado, entiendo, ¿no? Con el release, tal, los jugadores pueden entrar en Plunderstorm, un nuevo divertido de tiempo limitado. Ahora entiendo por qué de tiempo limitado. Tiene sentido que esto sea de tiempo limitado. Temática pirata, un evento de proporciones prodigiosas que durará las siguientes semanas. Atraviesa el mapa, intenta ser el último superviviente pirata, mientras atraviesa las tierras altas de Grati para encontrar habilidades, mejoras y lootear para sobrevivir. Básicamente, un Battle Royale de WoW. No tiene más. Battle Royale de WoW. Lo vemos, ¿no? A ver qué dicen. Vamos a verlo. Vamos a verlo tranquilamente. Hola, Lindsay. Hola. Decí hola. Decidle hola, Lindsay. Hola.
What is that black flag on the roadmap for 2024?
So when we were thinking about what we wanted to deliver to the players in 2024, what we ended up landing on was that we wanted to do something a little bit different than the things that we did previously in Dragonflight. So that's what we're here to talk about today. It's a brand new event and we're...
Mira, voy a decirlo ya, ¿vale? Voy a decirlo ya. Sé que la respuesta es no, pero voy a decirlo ya. ¿Vale? Antes de que me digas cómo funciona esto, voy a decirlo, ¿vale? No voy a decirlo, no, voy a decirlo. Yo voy a decirlo. Espero que haya una putísima ladder. Más te vale que haya una putísima ladder en la que puedas rankear. Y haya un ranking para poder spamear esto. Como solamente sea para conseguir las trophies, que sé que va a ser eso, sé que no va a haber un ladder. Pero si a esto le ponen un putísimo ladder, es el mejor evento del juego. Porque puedes jugar los casuals, sacarse sus cosas, y yo puedo tryhardearlo y ponerme rank 1 de España. O sea, de España, no de Europa, básicamente. Sé que no va a estar, pero es como mi sueño. Es como el 2 versus 2 versus 2 versus 2 del LoL, que ponga una ladder, aunque solamente dure un mes el 2 versus 2 versus 2 versus 2, no pasa nada, pero que haya una ladder, tío, y que pueda tryhardearla, ¿sabes? Que pueda tryhardearla, tío, que para llegar a rank 1, ¿sabes? Llegar a rank 1 de esto. Sé que no va a estar, pero si lo hiciesen ya, bueno, se pasan.
We're calling it Plunderstorm. It is a pirate-themed battle royale inspired
Battle Royale de
event that
piratitas.
takes place entirely within World of Warcraft and is available for all active WoW subscribers.
Atento a esto, no te hace falta tener Dragonfly comprado, solamente con tener la sub, si juegas Classic puedes jugar esto.
So, Plunderstorm
No tienes que tener
is
Dragonfly.
World of Warcraft's take on a battle royale. It's an action-oriented game that lets you customize your build and basically your class every single match. You'll be able to start collecting abilities through chests and by killing monsters, even killing other players, all while trying to avoid a collapsing storm.
Literalmente un Battle Royale, vaya.
Whoever
Pero no hay
is
armas,
the
son
last team
habilidades.
standing ends up winning.
Ya está.
And you don't need to go through a quest line, you don't need to go through any previous content to be able to access
No tienes que hacer nada,
this.
solamente
This is
entra y
immediately
juega.
accessible for anybody who's an active WoW player.
Si tienes la
We
suscripción,
expect
puedes
even the
jugar.
most casual player to be getting tons of plunder and tons of rewards every day. You might even say that the first minute or two are really a little bit more on the PvE side of things, where you're out fighting monsters, you're collecting a new set of abilities, and there isn't a huge amount of PvP combat until later on in the match.
Sí,
And
como
I
en el
think it's
Fortnite,
important
primero
that
farmear
that's
y luego
like
pegarse
the
de guantazo.
core of the game is the plundering, getting out and collecting chests and collecting items. You don't have to be the last person standing on the map in order to get a whole bunch of rewards. Even just by dropping into the map and completing your starter quest, that gives you a bunch of rewards just
Vale,
for doing the
esto está
usual
pensado para los
things you do
casual,
for
que
the
si no
first
ganas,
couple
aún
of
así puedas
minutes.
pillarte las
So no
trampas y las
matter
cosas.
what, you should
Tiene
exit that
sentido.
map with a bunch of plunder, even if you're not the last person standing. So as we were thinking about what the best framework for this would be, it just came to us that, hey, it should actually be an event that feels like it's a little bit outside of the main system. So we talked and we riffed about, hey, what would be the best theme for an event like that? We landed on pirates.
Who doesn't love pirates?
Because who doesn't love pirates? It's a
I love
fun
pirates.
theme.
Correcto.
But also, there's all these different pirate crews around Azeroth, and you've got to ask yourself the question, if you're not the hero of Azeroth, what are you doing on a day-to-day basis?
That's a great question.
So we're gonna actually track some of our civilian NPC friends and play as
Vamos a
those
meter todo-
characters as one of the pirate crews within Azeroth that isn't the hero of Azeroth.
Ah, que vamos a jugar con nosotros como los piratas. En plan, no jugamos con nuestro personaje. Nos dan un muñeco. En plan, es full neutral. O sea, que puedes entrar con un personaje nivel 1. Porque te dan un NPC para tú jugarlo. Ah, o sea, vamos, porque no tiene que tener Dragonfly, puede ser nivel 1 y puedes jugar. Hostia, del tirón, vale, me gusta, me
All of
gusta.
that came together to give us this theme of Kegleg's crew and the pirate crew, plundering these relics that are being transported across the highlands.
What will players see when they jump into this new event?
When players enter this new event, they're going to notice that a lot of their core things that they're used to in World of Warcraft are different. When they get into the main menu, they'll have a brand new option available to them, which is the Plunderstorm button. They click on that takes them to a separate
¡Oh! Que es un modo nuevo. Que no hay que entrar, que no hay que colear en el WoW. Es un modo nuevo. ¿Qué me estás container? Es literalmente otro juego. Es como si sacan como cuando sacaron el TFT. Oh my god. El WoW 2 es real, ¿eh? Oh. Solo dúo. Oh, no se puede jugar en 4 o en 5. Solamente 2 personas. Oh. ¿Con quién juego de dúo mañana, chicos? ¿Con quién spameo dúo esto? ¿Con quién spameo dúo? Habrá que spamear dúo con alguien, ¿no? Con mi chiwi, se lo voy a decir. ¿A María no le gusta esto? No lo creo. No lo creo. María, el PvP, no lo creo. No, no son su tipo de juego. Vale, vamos a seguir viendo. Ok. Es otro menú diferente. Voy a ponerme aquí abajo, ¿no?
menu, which shows their character and their friends list.
Personaje
And they'll be able
nuevo.
to invite players to their party all through the main menu. Normally you need to go into the game to invite another player into your party, but through Plunderstorm, you're actually inviting them through the main menu.
Vale, una cosa importante que os tengo que decir. Ya, los que sois de América. ¿Hay gente de aquí que sea de América? Rápido esto, por favor, rápido. Antes de entrar al juego, desactivad todos los addons. Porque los developers no han podido actualizar los addons. Que se os van a romper los addons. Desactivarlos todos. Desactivarlos todos. No loguéis al juego con addons. Desactivarlos todos y esperad un día. Porque los developers no han podido actualizar los addons. Porque no tenían el PTR. Si no, se os van a romper.
Once you're partied up, or if you want to go in solo, you queue up and load into a match. When you load into a match, you'll notice that you're invited into a pre-game lobby area where you're able to try out new abilities and try out
Típico
different
lobby,
mechanics that
esperando que
exist
entre la
within
gente.
Plunderstorm.
Ok, ok.
One of the coolest things about designing Plunderstorm has been just figuring out where we can break the rules in World of Warcraft. TLDR, when you're thinking about changing up things that dramatically, it no longer made a huge amount of sense for your main character and everything associated with that character. All of your armor sets and all of the weapons and everything that you've collected over the years in your battle pets and your 36 different abilities doesn't necessarily translate directly into this game mode. We wanted to start fresh and do crazy new abilities.
So,
Que no
as
va a ser
Jeremy
WoW,
mentioned,
vaya.
there's going to be brand new
Lo único que tiene
abilities
de WoW
that
es los
normally you wouldn't
visuales.
see on classes or characters in there. Because when you're thinking about developing a warrior ability, you want it to feel very warrior-esque. Or you're developing a mage ability, you want it to feel mage-esque. Well, this, you don't have a class. You're actually going to be building a brand new kit every single time you're going into a match.
Vale.
And your builds may vary match to match.
Oh, hay muy poco. O sea, 5 habilidades y 2 especiales.
Because
Ok.
it all depends on what drops for you in the match. Even things like auto attack doesn't work
Con
like
pagar
how it
la
works
sub-base,
normally in WoW.
lo tienes.
It's going to be an active ability
No
that
tienes que
you're
tener Dragonflight.
constantly using to
Si juegas
attack,
Classic, por ejemplo,
enemies.
puedes.
One thing that's just baked into your experience is that you're going to have a health pot that's always persistent. And we've slimmed down the UI. compared to what World of Warcraft normally is. You may be used to the 12 buttons on your main action bar, and then you have a bunch of other action bars you can enable. Well, this actually only has 7 total buttons that you can press on an action bar. When you loot an item, it doesn't go to your bag. You don't have a separate frame that you're opening.
Sale ahí, ¿no? En plan, como en Fortnite.
Put
Te sale ahí
directly onto your
directamente.
action bars, and then from there, that's also your spells. So you're able to cast spells, drop abilities, pick up abilities, all to one single action bar without needing to manage anything else. So we've really streamlined and simplified the experience.
That whole thing, I think, ends up feeling just wildly different than the way World of Warcraft plays right now. And not only is it action-oriented combat, but you're grabbing your abilities from the ground and then putting them on your bar. You can swap the 4 different abilities as you find new and cool things, or that you find certain synergies that work really well together.
Un poco raro cómo están los ítems, ¿no? Se ven muy poco. Un poco raro. Holy Shield, Common, Upgrade, CD reducido y daño aumentado si aplicable. Proyectil, recasta acciones, Close Range, 14 segundos de CD. Manda, lanza martillo bendito delante, dañando a los enemigos en su camino antes de volver a ti. Recastea para triggerar una explosión en la localización del escudo. Vale, sí, habilidades. Habilidades nuevas, en plan, cada partida tiene habilidades nuevas.
Synergies that work really well together. And then there's different rarities to the abilities too, so you can get everything
Tier 1,
from
Tier 2, Tier
uncommon,
3.
rare, all the way up to epic levels of these abilities. You get higher level abilities as you progress in the match. But you may also just get one really early in the match, get super lucked out, and you get epic fire whirl right at the very beginning, and then you can go and wreck some people. And that's one of the things I think that makes it super replayable. Not only do you get a kit of abilities that are always going to feel different in every match, but also how the power curve changes is also going to feel pretty different every match too.
Sí,
Yeah, you know, we've experimented around with a lot of different spells and abilities, things that normally we couldn't do in World of Warcraft, and that's intentional as well. We want to make sure that when we're coming up with these brand new abilities, that they feel fresh, they feel awesome to press. It's not just about the min-max, but sometimes it's about the impact, the,
Me recuerda mucho
I'm
al
using an
Spellbreak,
ability, and this is just the most awesome ability I've ever seen. That's the type of stuff we want to inspire players to kind of jump into the next match and find even more cool stuff.
And you can strategize. One of the reasons why I like playing duos is because it almost feels like you get twice as many abilities, and you can strategize. You're going to be the fire pirate, and I'm going to be the Arcanosphere
Vale, aquí explican algo más o ya solamente comenta.
So the way it works is we have all duos in a match and all solos in a match. Duos, you can also, you know, pre-form a party with a friend and be able to get into the match with them as well.
I think that it would end up being a little unfair to have solo players on the battlefield with duo players, because duo players are coordinating, they're coordinating their spells and abilities. We made it really easy to use the ping system in-game so that it's really easy for you to communicate even if you're not talking with your partner. So they would already have an advantage, and we wouldn't want to disadvantage.
Hombre, obviamente en dúo va a jugar mejor.
I think the duos also has the revive mechanic too, which is super cool, especially
en dúo puede revivir, como tiene que ser, efectivamente.
Me too. We shouldn't be on the same team.
Well, no, that
would be good.
I'll be on Orlando's team.
So if your partner dies, you are able to revive them, but you're not reviving them the normal way you would revive a player in WoW. So you don't need to press any extra buttons or collect any spells or items that do this. This is actually just something that is kind of baked into the experience, that if you die, you'll have a ring around you, your partner can stand on you,
Se tiene que
and
quedar y te
you'll get
revive.
revived and able to play the game again.
Normally
in World of
Lo
Warcraft,
típico
when your
en
character
los Battle
dies,
Royale.
you're looking at your character's corpse and seeing a release button on there. Well, with Plunderstorm, we knew that you wouldn't be able to release. So what are you going to be doing, looking at your corpse the whole time? Well, the engineers, you know, got together and they decided, hey, let's add spectating mode to this.
Oh!
So once you die...
Dime, por favor, espero que usen lo del modo espectador en el futuro, tío. Ojalá poder espectear míticas, ojalá poder espectear raid. Ojalá, de verdad, ojalá usen esta ingeniería en el futuro. En serio, ojalá. Ojalá pongan lo del modo espectador en case, en raid, en PvP. ¿Sabéis la de cosas guapísimas que se podrían hacer? ¿Sabéis la de eventos de mítica que se podrían hacer con el modo espectador bien hecho? ¿Sabéis la de lo que mejoraría las raids con un modo espectador? O en plan con una persona que no esté jugando, que sea el RL.
You can actually spectate your teammate until you're either revived or, unfortunately, you're eliminated. And then once your team is eliminated, you can spectate anybody on the entire map. So we wanted to really make sure that we're kind of introducing new things in WoW that normally wouldn't exist in, you know, Dragonflight or in Classic or another variation of WoW, and make this pretty unique to Plunderstorm. There's other things that we kind of broke the rules on too, which was there's no fall damage.
Vale.
And everyone can double jump.
Everyone can double jump.
Doble salto todo el
Things
mundo.
that we thought were fun.
Yeah, that's
and
awesome.
These are things that we can't do in World of Warcraft.
No, esto es más hechizo, rollo Spellbreak.
And that's intentional because that's built around a very different experience. But here we said, well, we love WoW's combat, but we want to change up how you interact with WoW's combat. and we wanted to not only make it different for fighting other players, but also fighting monsters. All the monsters have a different type of abilities that they're going to be able to attack you with. These aren't your normal just auto attack abilities whenever a mob, gets on you. These are going to be actually telegraphed abilities that you're going to see, cast in front of the monster and be able to sidestep it.
Okay.
So there's actual mechanics tied to all the monsters that are in the match as well.
Like everything has become kind of more action-oriented combat, and that's one of the things we can accomplish when it's all encapsulated with.
No sé si os acordáis, pero la gente de Blizzard contrató a 100 trabajadores de Spellbreak. ¿No recuerda esto demasiado a Spellbreak? Clases que no tienen nada, tú les customizas cada partida los hechizos y demás. Es que literalmente los han puesto a trabajar para esto.
Is that there's multiple layers of how you play it. So there's not only the spell acquisition, which we talked about, but also the leveling through this experience as well. You're getting more health, and you want to get that so that you hopefully by the end of the match have enough level under your belt and enough items under your belt that you can come out on top.
I want to know, what rewards can I get from Plunderstorm? Because I'm a huge collector, and there's got to be something cool. It's plunder after all.
Oh yeah, no, we've got a ton of rewards, a ton of intentionally pirate-themed rewards coming your way in Plunderstorm. There's 40 renown levels that you can get with Keg.
Repu y coleccionables que puedes conseguir.
Zip through them pretty quickly. We want this to feel super, super rewarding. So expect to get a renown level, every 4 or 5 matches, at least a renown level a day for even your casual gamer. Every renown level that you level up has a reward associated with it. Everything that you unlock in this mode is also going to unlock in your transmog set for all of your main World of Warcraft characters.
Vale. Transfix se desbloquea lo clásico.
In there as well. If you're a
Classic también.
Classic player, you can get a pet amount from this.
¿Qué? ¿En Classic puedes llevar este loro? Me estás vacilando. ¿Qué? No, me estás vacilando. ¿Cómo voy a llevar este puto loro en Classic? ¿Qué dices? ¿Qué dices? Me fumo 4 porros.
One of the things we started discussing early on was whether or not we would support add-ons or try to put the majority of the information players were looking for in the game world and in the mode.
Yeah, World of Warcraft players are some of the smartest players in the world, and we're super excited for our players to check this out. One thing that we knew, though, is that we wanted a level playing field for all players to be able to play with. Third-party add-ons are awesome, and they're super cool to see, and what the community comes up with is amazing. But for this, we really wanted everybody to have the same exact experience, which also made it challenging to make the event as well.
Okay,
make everything super
sinceramente,
obvious, when you're casting spells
me han callado la boca.
or you're attacking.
Honestamente, me han callado la boca. Para bien. Muy bien, Blizzard. Muy bien. No ha sido matar rares. Es un evento nuevo. Entiendo que sea de tiempo limitado. Sé que mucha gente dirá, ¡ay, solamente 3 semanas, vaya mierda! Esto es normal que sea de tiempo limitado, porque como lo dejes para siempre, esto al mes no lo juega ni Peter, porque se acaba el hype y ya no hay más recompensas. Y como no hay una ladder competitiva, se acaba el sentido seguir jugándolo, y no podrías encontrar 60 personas, con lo cual tienes que poner que sea de tiempo limitado para juntar a todo el mundo, para que todo el mundo lo juegue a la vez, porque son partidas de 60 personas. Así que, oye, muy bueno, ¿eh? Muy, muy bueno. Buah, tú. Pues ganas de probarlo mañana, ¿eh? Mañana lo spamearemos 100%. Mañana buscaré un dúo y jugaremos 100%.